name is Elise Wild, and you are listening to Women's Lifestyle Magazine, Inspired Voices. Today I'm joined by Dr. Jeffrey Vanwiggen, who created a YouTube video 4 days ago about utilizing sterile technique when grocery shopping and bringing your groceries home. Now, his video, it was posted 4 days ago, and he already has 17 million views. So it's safe to assume that his video is resonating with a lot of people, and I think we're all feeling now that even when we do leave our houses to go grocery shopping, which we must do, because everyone has to eat, it can be a little nerve-wracking. So Dr. Vanwiggen and I talk about the steps that he outlines in his video and why he thinks that these are things we should all be doing to keep ourselves safe. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Tell me about yourself and about your professional background.
Well, I was born and raised in the Grand Rapids area, and I'm an MSU grad, and I've been practicing medicine in a private practice for the past 20 years.
Okay. Sterile technique, I heard you use that word in your video. So sterile technique is something that is common for medical professionals to be familiar with, but I don't think people ever think of it in their everyday lives. Just as, a couple weeks ago, we'd never heard the term social distancing, and now it's, we all know exactly what it means. So tell me about how what motivated you, what got you thinking to bring sterile technique into the process of getting groceries?
Well, watching this and trying to be one step ahead of the curve, it was pretty clear that Governor Whitmer was going to issue the stay-at-home order for Monday. Mm-hmm. So I got talking with my son, who's 16 years old and a bit of a techie, on Sunday, and I said, boy, when this happens, people are going to be rushing out to the grocery stores, and they're going to be bunching all in together. They're going to be grabbing food, trying to get enough because of this lockdown situation. We've got to get the word out that they need to be safe when they do so, because while we're restricted to our homes, we still can go out and get groceries. And if you think about it, restricting people to their homes, that should be an ideal situation where they're not spreading things around. So going to the marketplace leaves that big open area of risk. So we put some ideas together. We put out the first video and just tried to get the word out that people can be smarter. They can be use some adapted techniques to make sure that they essentially zero their risk when they're bringing things into the home, and then reduce their risk when they are in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. But I want to be clear that the most important thing that people can do to reduce the risk of coronavirus is to stay at home. Mm-hmm. The risk of eating food is very low. The risk of getting coronavirus from, say, a plastic-wrapped food product or a canned good is also low. But the most important thing they can do is to stay at home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's go through some of the sanitizing tips that are in your video, starting with going out to get groceries and ending with, putting them in your refrigerator.
I would recommend that people kind of get a game plan when they do make the decision that we've got to go out for food. I would say the youngest, healthiest person in the household should be the one that goes out for food.
That's great advice, yes.
Yeah, designate that person. And make sure that they know how to be safe in the environment, because most people get this from respiratory droplets. So if you can make sure you're maintaining social distancing in the supermarket, reduce your time in the supermarket, commit to buy. By that I mean, look at the products from afar, but if you grab it, you bought it. You just don't want hands and fingers on things. And if you do have any respiratory symptoms, please do not go the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that stuck out to me in your video was the surface that you have. That you have divided between a clean surface and a dirty surface. So tell me about that. Tell me about after someone brings their groceries Or when someone gets their groceries and they bring them home, then what's next?
Well, if you have the means to do this, and the food is reasonable, and here in West Michigan it's been nice and cool, so we've just left our groceries in our garage, and then after a few days we bring them into the house just to make absolutely sure. But if you do need to bring those in, come up with some ideas about how you can just ensure that if there is any respiratory droplets on those food products in the packaging, that you remove that. And I used an analogy of glitter. If you can imagine, there's a bit of glitter scattered in different places along those groceries, and we have time that can obliterate that glitter, 3 days, and that's being very cautious. And we also have soap, and we also have disinfectant. And our job is to get that food to the clean side, get the stuff that came from the grocery store, the packaging that's left, out of the house, and then disinfect that table again and wash the hands, and then put the groceries away.
So I know some people might say, this is too much, this is such a hassle. What would you say to that? What would you say to people who might be see this as just a little too extra?
Well, yeah, I can definitely see that this seems excessive, and it may be, but when you're in a pandemic situation like we are now, you're going to be potentially criticized on the front side for doing too much, rather, but you're going to be criticized on the back side for not doing enough. And just to kind of put things in perspective, on March 1st in America, there were 89 cases, and yesterday, the 26th, there were 82,000 cases.
Wow. Yeah.
And those are just positive tests. And there's a lot that we know about this virus, but there's a lot that we don't know. I mean, can you tell me that the surfaces are completely safe when we touch them and when we bring our hands up to touch our face? And I mean, let's say it's 1 in a million, but if you're that one, that's 100%.
Yeah.
And in this case, that one is going to statistically give it to 3 people, and those 3 people are going to give it to 3 people, and maybe one of those people is 80 years old, and they're going to die, or they're going to need a ventilator to survive, and maybe there's not a ventilator available.
I'm glad you brought up the point of that. You know, our reactions in the last couple weeks have been with the big announcements that keep being rolled out as we keep moving through the phases of this, is people going to the grocery store and stocking up on food as if it's just not ever going to be there again. And people, I mean, that creating going to an area and creating this high traffic where people are touching lots of things is the exact opposite of what we want to do. So I like that you had suggested, strongly urge that people practice safe shopping and have a game plan going forward.
That's right. And I think the shock is worn off.
And
now the nice thing is that we're seeing people empowering. They're taking social distancing seriously. People are making masks. They're educating themselves, and this kind of spirit is going to flatten the curve and help us to ultimately defeat this COVID-19.
So you mentioned in your video that it's not necessarily the food that is could potentially be carrying the virus. It's the surfaces in the packaging.
Thanks for bringing that up. This is not a foodborne illness like what you see with norovirus that comes around in the spring or on cruise ships and makes everybody have diarrhea. And by the way, that one is really infectious compared to the COVID-19. But you're not going to get this in your food. You're going to get this most so, from respiratory droplets, and also from surfaces, shaking hands, door handles, and potentially the food products that you touch. And you're fine with your food. We just want to get that packaging with shopping accounted for.
So what disinfectants should people use on their items?
I'm going to reference people. The Center for Disease Control has a great website, and we do have the potential that disinfectants, commercial disinfectants, may be scarce. There are people that like to make their own disinfectant, and the CDC really has the data on what you can do. They've got some ideas for making your own bleach, for instance, and that has all been very, very carefully thought through and laid out on the CDC website.
Okay, good. Is there anything else that you would advise people to do at this point? Any resources? Like you mentioned the CDC is a really comprehensive website for people to go to get the most up-to-date information. Do you have any other suggestions for people at this time?
Well, we really need to look after our elder population.
Yes, yeah.
And this is a population that we need to be hands-off. And in the coming days, there's going to be that newness wearing off in isolation. And I would encourage people to reach out on the platforms of their choosing. Our older generation doesn't necessarily like Twitter and TikTok and all that stuff, but give them a phone call.
Yeah.
And reach out and make sure they're okay, make sure they have what they need.
That's
encourage
great.
People. We got to keep people out of the emergency rooms in the med centers. We just can't have that kind of movement. And all of the doctors' offices are up and running on their telehealth platform.
Okay.
And I would encourage people to be proactive with that, not when you need it. Find out which telehealth platform your doctor is using, call their office, look at their website, and get signed up ahead of time so that when you need it, you can engage right from your smartphone or your home PC.
That's great advice to have that ready to go. One of the things that, as someone I'm not necessarily in the demographic of, we never know how it'll affect our bodies, but I'm not necessarily in an at-risk group. But something I've been thinking about is, also staying home minimizes the risk of getting in a car accident or anything that could potentially make me end up in the emergency room or in need of medical care. So I think that's an important thing for us all to remember too. It's not necessary. Even if you're not in the most at-risk group, it's just so important to make sure that our hospitals and our healthcare system can really meet this crisis the best that they can, which means staying safe and staying healthy. So
mentally and physically.
Yes, mentally and physically. Absolutely.
I agree.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we end our call here?
No, we're going to get through this. Science is going to win. But we need to give science time to flatten that curve. I have no doubt. It's shown and it's played out historically with the polio epidemics, measles, scarlet fever, and especially and most recently the Spanish flu pandemic in 1918. We're going to get through this, and we got to do it together.
Words of wisdom from Dr. Jeffrey Vanwiggen. We will get through this together. Science will win. We just have to let it. Thanks for listening, and please keep your eye out for more episodes. We will be putting out a podcast each day. We have some really exciting interviews coming up that I personally am really looking forward to. And please stay in touch with us if you have any ideas for a podcast or anything that anyone you'd like to hear from that we haven't interviewed yet. You can email me at elise@womenslifestyle.com. To get connected with us, please visit www.womenslifestyle.com. Sign up for our newsletter. Keep an eye on this Facebook page for more podcasts to come.